Get this under my leg. There we go. Higher. Morristown is currently getting hit by a storm.
Oh, I hope that doesn't make it up to Sussex County.
No, it's already past Sussex, so it's hitting here.
Oh, it was going that way?
Hitting now.
Oh, that's good because have people at the fair.
As long as it passes us.
You push it down a little more. This way.
Can't do it anymore. There's no more room.
Okay, that's good.
Come on. There it is.
Let's do the spray. Here.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, Allison. Yes, Allison.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
You're in the thunder.
Who is?
I am.
Oh,
That's happening over here in the in Boveyville and sure Birchwood section.
Randolph, and I hear it too. Pretty good.
I have
Yep.
I have blue skies, ladies and gentlemen.
It's getting very black and noisy.
As long as you don't lose the internet, we're good. We're golden.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Are we going to have a moment of silence for Governor Cuomo?
All right, looks like we have everybody on. All right, calling the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. Please join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
One nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time, I'd like to take a moment of silence to remember the service and sacrifice of the armed service members who protect our nation and the first responders who protect our neighborhoods. I'd also like to recognize that last week we lost somebody who tragically who contributed a lot to Rockaway Township. Rob Willis, the owner of Bunky's Towing. He was definitely a giver. Him and his wife always participated in our Halloween events at Peterson. I think the event we had at Parks Lake last year wouldn't have been as great if it wasn't for him and some of the things he did. He's survived by his wife Carolyn and his twin sons. So it's a real loss to the community. I think Rob did a lot of things for a lot of people. So please join me in a moment of silence.
Mr. Jackson, can I add somebody as well, please?
Sure, go ahead, Mr. Kelly.
On the 24th of July of 21, we lost a phenomenal person, Don Fox, in the Charlottesburg, Split Rock area. Don was 91 years old, served in the Korean War. He was a sergeant there. He has 3 children, his sons, Sean and Christopher, and his daughter, Daryl. And he was an arts and mechanical drawing teacher in Mountain Lakes, also was a ski director up in Craigmere. He was extremely active throughout many things in Rockaway, including coaching for his children too with baseball. He would deeply be missed, and the prayers to Don's family. Thank you.
Thank you. Join me in a moment of silence, everybody. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
Here.
Councilmember Quinn,
here,
Councilmember Friedlander,
Here.
Councilmember Kritz.
Here.
Councilmember Salberg,
Here.
Councilmember Brooks,
Here.
Councilmember Noon,
Here.
Vice President Sackett,
here.
President Jackson.
Here, we have a quorum. Please be advised that all electronic remote meetings of the Township Council held on WebEx are recorded. All members of the public will be provided the opportunity to speak. During any public hearing or open to the public sections of the meeting, the Township Clerk will unmute each member of the public and ask if they wish to speak. As per Rockaway Township Code 2-5.14, any person desiring to address the council shall first seek recognition by the presiding officer, and upon recognition by the chair, the person shall give their name and address for the record. Unless further time is granted by the council, they shall limit their statement to 5 minutes. Statements shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any member thereof. A councilman shall not direct any questions to a speaker addressing the council except through the presiding officer. In addition to speaking on the record during council meetings, members of the public may submit questions and comments to the council by emailing questions@rockawaytownship.org by the end of the open to the public session. This meeting was advertised in the Daily Record on May 15th, 2021, and the Star Ledger on May 17th, 2021, the official newspapers for the Township of Rockaway. Notice was posted on the official bulletin boards of Rockaway Township. First course of business is to approve meeting minutes. Chrissy, can we make a motion on all 3 and then vote separately, or do we have to make 3 motions?
I believe a motion to approve all, and then if council members needed to vote separately would be okay.
So
I would
would
like
anybody
to,
go ahead.
I'd like to double check that with Mr. Achafano, but I do believe that would be appropriate.
That is correct.
Okay, so what we have on the table for a motion, the approval of the minutes of the July 13th, 2021 regular meeting, the July 13th, 21 closed session, and the July 21st, 2021 special meeting. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Quinn and Mr. Friedlander.
Mr. Jackson, quick question on the closed session minutes.
No. All right, clerk,
I'll
you can
ask it
take the roll
anyways. Am I
call.
supposed to have the closed session
Mr.
minutes?
Kelly, you're out of order.
Am I
Mr.
supposed to
Kelly,
have
you're
the
not
session
recognized
minutes?
and you're out of order.
Council President?
Yes,
Can we vote on them separately? I wasn't at.
we are voting on them separately.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Mr.
So the
Jackson, am I
first-
supposed to have the closed
Mr.
session
Kelly,
minutes?
you're out of order and you're not recognized. You're out of order and you're not recognized.
You answered a question for Mr. Sackett.
He asked me to vote separately. He wasn't asking about the content of the minutes. So
I
you're
didn't
out of
ask
order,
about
you're
the
not
content.
recognized.
I didn't ask about the content.
What do you want to know, Mr. Kelly?
Am I supposed to be a recipient of the closed session minutes?
That has nothing to do with voting on it, Mr. Kelly. Clerk, take the roll call. We're first going to be voting on the July 13th, 2021 regular minutes.
Councilmember Kelly,
No.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Abstain.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Vice President Sackett, President Jackson,
Yes, that's 7 yeses, 1 no, and 1 abstention. Minutes are approved. Next, we'll be voting on the July 13th, 2021 closed session minutes. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
Abstain.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz, if you voted, I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, abstain.
Thank you. Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Abstain.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson,
Yes, that's 6 yeses and 3 abstentions. Minutes are approved. Next is C, voting on the July 21st, 2021 special meeting minutes.
Councilmember Kelly,
No.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Vice President Sackett,
Abstain.
President Jackson,
Yes, that's 1 no, 1 abstention, and 7 yeses. Minutes are approved. Next, number 7 is ordinances to adopt. We have O-21-26, an ordinance providing for the improvement of the water supply and distribution system, the sanitary sewer collection system, and the stormwater management system in and by the Township of Rockaway in the County of Morris, New Jersey, and appropriating $1,354,201.76, therefore constituting proceeds of a grant from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Mr. Quinn and Mr. Friedlander. Clerk, can you open up to Mrs. Seeger? Have we gotten any emails with questions about this?
Not for this particular ordinance.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Clipperton.
and before we start going through the public, I would just like to remind everyone, please state your name and address for the record before you go into your comment on this ordinance. I have Al Cerullo,
No, thank you.
Jim Waters,
Jim Waters, 48 Seneca Avenue. No comment. Thank you.
Justin Norman,
Justin Norman, 60 Valley Road, no comment, thank you.
Lily Sweet,
1 Oakland Avenue, no comment.
Patrick Egan,
No comment, thank you.
Ron Cleland,
30 Fernwood Road, no comment.
Susan Royick,
No, thank you.
I have Tom Kelly, That's it for members of the public.
Okay, we'll have 5 minutes of council discussion. Anybody wish to be recognized and speak?
Just real quick,
You're recognized.
just moving forward, the members of the public, if they're not going to speak, don't have to state their name and their address for each one of these ordinances to adopt during the open public comment of that. And another thing is, in the future, and it has been done in the past, because maybe members of the public don't know, we used to have it underneath each ordinance to adopt open to the public. So many people that are in the public don't have any clue that this might be something of availability to discuss as a member of the public. And that would just be my same response to A, B, and C and moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk, you can take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon, Councilmember Noon,
She's saying yes.
Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson,
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Motion carries. Next ordinance to adopt is O-21-27, amending Chapter 7 Traffic, Article 1, Section 7-10 Stop Intersections, Section 7-11 Yield Intersection, and Section 7-12 Turn Prohibitions of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Rockaway, County of Morris, State of New Jersey. Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Second that.
All right, Mr. Friedland, Mr. Quinn, seconded by Mr. Friedlander, I heard first.
Yep.
Clerk, public discussion? Ms. Seeger, any emails on this ordinance to adopt?
Not on any of the ordinance, just when you get to open to the public.
Okay.
Al Cerullo,
25 Sioux Avenue, no comment.
Jim Waters,
Jim Waters, 48 Seneca Avenue, no comment. Thank you.
Justin Norman,
Justin Norman, no comment, thank you.
Lily Sweet,
No comment, thank you. 1 Oakland Avenue. Oh, by the way, on this ordinance, if you click on the red, you could read the entire ordinance. That's what I do when I make a decision to vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Lil.
Patrick Egan,
59 Lennox Road, no comment, thank you.
Ron Cleland,
No comment.
Susan Royick,
No, thank you.
Tom Kelly,
No
That's it for
comment.
the- Thank you. That's
Okay,
it for members
5
of the
minutes of-
public.
Okay, 5 minutes of council discussion, if anybody wishes to be recognized. Okay, clerk, you can take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson.
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Motion's adopted. Okay, next, our last ordinance to be adopted is O-21-28, an ordinance amending Chapter 6 Alcoholic Beverage Control, specifically Section 3.4 license fees, maximum number of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Rockaway. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
So moved.
Mr. Kelly and Mr. Quinn. Public discussion.
Al Cerullo,
25 Sioux Avenue, no comment.
Jim Waters,
Jim Waters, 48 Seneca Avenue, no comment, thank you.
Justin Norman,
No comment, thank you.
Lily Sweet,
1 Oakland Avenue, no comment, thank you.
Patrick Egan,
59 Lennox Road, no comment.
Ron Cleland,
No comment.
Susan Royak,
No, thank you.
Tom Kelly,
6 Stanley, no comment.
that's it.
Thank you. I'll allow 5 minutes of council discussion if anybody wants to be recognized.
I'd like to be recognized.
Go ahead.
Question, when looking at the ordinance, it appears that the fees that we are charging, specifically for like larger chain restaurants and hotels, is roughly half of what we could collect. So the question is when we set the prices, is there an opportunity to raise the prices for these licenses based really on what the return is for the person who's getting it?
It's a 20% increase, Mr. Chris, maximum you can do a year. It's part of the ordinance that's there and it's statutory.
Mr. Kelly, you're not recognized. You're out of order. Mrs. Seeger, would you like to answer or have somebody answer?
Yes, I would like to recognize our clerk, Ms. Clipperton, since it falls under her.
Sure, Ms. Clipperton.
Mr. Kelly is correct. We can only increase these fees by 20% per year, at least for the plenary retail and consumption and distribution licenses. There are maximum license fees set for club licenses, hotel. The maximum for consumption and distribution is $2,500. The intention is to update our fees to meet the normal, which seems to be near that a higher $2,500 mark for the consumption and distribution licenses. But the ordinance committee felt that it was prudent to reevaluate on a yearly basis. That way, if we are in another situation where, like COVID, where business owners are struggling, we don't want to hit them with another additional fee. So the intent, like I said, the intent is to reevaluate the ordinance, see how things are on a yearly basis until we get to normal numbers.
Very good explanation.
Thank you. Makes sense.
Anybody else have any questions?
I do.
Go ahead, Mr. Kelly.
I think the real question is there a reason why we didn't do anything in this nature, realizing that we're probably one of the lowest fees that we charge, especially on planetary? Why didn't we do this pre-COVID? I mean, it seems the amount of revenue that we're going to gain on a 20% increase is substantial. And each year we can do that on top of the fee that we just raised from the year prior. How many planetary licenses do we currently have now in Rockaway Township?
I don't know, Ms. Clipperton, can you answer that?
We have 23 total licenses. I want to say 18 or 19 of them are plenary consumption licenses.
So on those 18, if we do the 20%, That's roughly $3,600, just under $4,000 that we are increasing it. Just for the planetary ones.
Well, yeah, I'm sure your mental math would be better than mine, but that sounds right.
I don't know. You're the one that assembled it and did the cost analysis and pricing.
I don't have my paperwork in front of me right now.
Do we know what we had as far as a total amount of licensing that we collect for alcohol under the 5 different licenses that we have?
I believe it's roughly $20,000 a year.
Roughly 20K?
Yeah,
And that's with the increase now, or that's prior to the increase?
prior to the increase.
Okay. So we potentially lost some revenue in the last several years. When's the last time that we've ever had an increase?
I don't know. I wasn't able to find. I went back to. I believe I went back to like 2009, and I didn't find anything. And that's when I reached out to other Morris County municipalities to see what their licensing fees were and to see what we were looking at in terms of an average. And I started working on the ordinance.
What was the average?
Most municipalities are at that highest number of the 2,500.
And then when we talk about the businesses and stuff like that, Ms. Clipperton, I mean, I would assume since 2009 that their pricing has increased for alcohol to their customers, but yet we haven't increased anything ourselves to regain some of that revenue to offset taxes. So, I mean, when you say about pre-COVID or COVID, I mean, they're functioning, they're doing everything that they can, but it just seems since 2009, I mean, that's a really long time. That's, 12 years that we haven't had an increase of the amount of revenue that we lost. Are there any other licensing that maybe the clerk's office has control or involvement with that we're looking to maybe potentially increase to bring us to the levels that the other municipalities are legally allowed to charge outside of alcohol?
I'm sure there are, and I'm happy to look into it.
Great, thank you. I have any more questions?
Thank you. Clerk, can you take the roll call?
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kritz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson.
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Ordinance is adopted. Next is open to the public. Mrs. Seeger, do we have any emails?
Yes, I do. I have one from a gentleman, Tom Kelly, who lives at 6 Stanley Terrace, and I will read you his email. My name is Tom Kelly, and I live at 6 Stanley Terrace for 28 years. My backyard backs up to the basketball courts. Since the restoration project, I have lost privacy and the noise is unbearable.
Yep.
These players play extremely loud music and add to the fact that lights were installed and curfew is 10 p.m. But they don't stop playing at 10 p.m. They use the parking lot light and keep playing until I call the police. I called at 11:40 p.m. on July 4th, and they would have played all night, in my opinion, if I have not called the police many times to complain about the noise and was told the noise curfew is 10 p.m. I also believe the players are not from the town. I'm requesting a new privacy fence, preferably the noise dampering. I would also request the players provide proof of residency. I hope we can resolve this immediately. I'm planning to be on the meeting tonight for any questions. Thank you. And he is on the attendance.
Looks like he called in. So I don't know, Mr. Mayor, if that's maybe something you can address in your report.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can we ask
Any
questions?
other
for Mr.
emails?
Kelly? Can we ask
You're
questions?
not recognized. You're out of order. Any other emails, Mrs. Clipperton?
Mrs. Seeger, no.
Ms. Seeger, I'm sorry. Yeah. That's
No
it.
problem.
Okay. Ms. Clipperton, can you go through the public?
Al Cerullo,
25 Sue, no comment.
Jim Waters.
Yeah, Jim Waters, 48 Seneca Avenue. Couple of real quick comments. I believe I heard the council person refer to a planetary license, and while I think that a planetary license would be a wonderful thing to possess, I think it's plenary that we're talking about. And secondly, with the number of people in town complaining about the high tax rates, I'm not sure that it's a good thing to do to say, well, we could, basically all of your revenue and your resources belong to us as a township unless we let you keep it. And I think it's a little misleading to go after the maximum fees that we're allowed to have. I'd like to see them kept on a reasonable, as needed basis. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Justin Norman.
Two things. I'd like Justin Norman, 60 Valley Road. I'd like to echo the previous speaker's comments that maximum licensing fees would be akin to predatory, locking people out who are trying to get started. If we're trying to foster and grow a new business, I think the licensing fees should be not the biggest thing they have to worry about. And second comment, with regards to the curfews and basketball courts, simply put, I think there's more harmful things adolescents could be doing than playing basketball in the evening. And maybe if the music's killing you, then sure. But I think that's a positive way for somebody to spend warm evenings. So unconcerned from this person. Thank you. That's it.
Lily Sweet.
Yes, I do have a comment. 1 Oakland Avenue. I want to let everybody know that the gazebo concerts have been going on since the first Sunday of every month. True, we've held mostly all of them at the mall. And I want you to know, even at the mall, we have about 200 people in attendance.
Awesome.
I believe we have more people coming to our concert than the mall has seen during the virus. Also, I want to say to you, the council and the administration, we are coming up soon to Labor Day. I want to wish you all a healthy and safe Labor Day. And one more comment, because the fact that the virus is going up again quite a bit, maybe we still should have these council meetings still remain on Zoom till we all feel safe to come out. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Patrick Egan.
Yes, Patrick Egan, 59 Lenox Road, Rockaway. I think the best way to increase or decrease taxes in this town is to decrease the amount of litigation that goes on unnecessarily. So let's not pass the costs on to businesses. You know, people are trying to make a living here, and that ultimately get passed on to the consumers anyway. But if we can stop these unnecessary litigations and costing the town money, I think we're looking at pennies versus hundreds of thousands of dollars. Thank you.
Ron Cleveland.
No comment.
Susan Royak.
No comment, thank you.
Tom Kelly.
Yes, I'm the one who sent the email, and
So just so we have it on the recording, so state your name and your address, please, Mr. Kelly. Sorry.
sorry, Tom Kelly, 6 Stanley. Yeah, I'm the one who sent the email about the new basketball court, and you know, my only problem with it is 10 o'clock seems. I mean, I know it's the noise now. I know it's the noise ordinance, but you know, there's noise and there's excessive noise, and like I said, I don't think these. I mean, all day and pretty much all night till 6, 7, 8 o'clock. I've been used to this, you know, for all these years. I mean, there have been issues, but not like this. And I don't believe the kids that are up here, these aren't kids, these are men. So, I mean, if that's what we were trying to do with these courts and the lights, that's fine, but they're right in my face. So, like I said, I don't know if there's anything that can be done about it, but that's an issue, a big issue for me.
Okay, Mr. Kelly, I think the mayor will make some statements during his report.
Can we ask some questions of Mr. Kelly?
No, you're not recognized. Any other members of the public, Ms. Clipperton?
I'm checking through one more time.
Yeah, I
No,
don't see any.
that's it.
Okay. Mrs. Seeger, have we gotten any other emails?
No, Council President.
So next we have ordinances to introduce. O-21-29 ordinance providing for the undertaking of the Fort Face House construction documents project by the Township of Rockaway in the County of Morris, New Jersey, and appropriating $15,720, therefore constituting proceeds of a grant from the Morris County Historic Preservation Trust. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All right, I think I heard Mr. Kelly and Mr. Friedlander.
Yep, I try to get in the first one.
Get both of them, Mr. Freelander, for your work with the.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Second.
Clerk, you can take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kretz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson,
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Next is ordinance O-21-30, amending Chapter 7, Traffic, Article 1, Section 7-6, parking of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Rockaway, County of Morris, State of New Jersey. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
So move.
Mr. Kelly and Mr. Quinn. Clerk, you can take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kretz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson,
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Next are resolutions. Number 10, we have Resolution R-21-140, resolution granting authorization to enter into professional services agreement for legal services with Methvessel and Werble Esquire, specifically Eric Harrison Esquire, defense of a case entitled Tucker M. Kelly versus Rockaway Township et al. MRS-L-309-21. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
second.
Mr. Salberg and Mr. Quinn.
Discussion, Mr. President?
Nope.
Why
Clerk,
not?
you can take the roll call.
How come no discussion on that?
I don't need to allow discussion on this. You got everything a week ago.
Council President,
Yes,
I would also point out that this involves a case directly brought by Mr. Kelly.
yeah.
As such,
My name's
Mr.
on
Kelly
it.
is in conflict.
Clerk, you can take the roll call.
Councilmember Kelly,
Abstain.
Councilmember Quinn,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilmember Kretz,
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Noon,
Yes.
Vice President Sackett,
Yes.
President Jackson,
Yes, that's 8 yeses, 1 abstention. Resolution carries. Next is our consent agenda. We have A, R-21-141, B, R-21-142, and C, R-21-143. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Quinn and Mr. Friedlander.
Council, or the clerk, could you remove R21-143 for discussion, Ms. Clipperton? Thank
What
you.
is your reason for removing it?
I just have one quick question on it, that's all, but I don't think it needs for a reason. It's a request that needs to be honored.
No, you can make a motion then.
I don't have to make a motion. We've already gone through this before.
Yeah, we've gone through it. You need to make a motion.
No, we don't. Are you forcing me to make a motion in order to have it removed for
I'm
discussion?
asking you to make a motion. That's the protocol we follow. You've had this for a week. I'm assuming you haven't asked the administration any questions. So if you have a question, you should have asked it a week ago when you had this agenda.
And you know, Mr. Jackson, I'm glad you
Clerk, you
pointed
could
that
take the
out.
roll call.
I make a motion, Mr.
Okay,
President.
make your motion.
It's funny though, Mr.
Make your motion or we're moving on and voting.
Request information from the
Make a
administration
motion.
and then
or
asks
remove-
it again
No,
at a
I
meeting,
can
but when
give
I do,
anybody
it's a
any
problem.
preference. Make a motion or we're moving on.
Remove R21-143 for discussion. You would
Anybody
have the
want to
answer from
second
me
that
less than
motion?
even to
Does
argue with
anybody
me.
want to second that motion?
Of course
Hey, clerk,
not.
you can take the roll call.
Moving for a
Councilmember
separate
Kelly?
vote, I'm going to actually abstain on C, Mrs. Clipperton. So I'm going to vote yes for A and B, abstain on C.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Quinn?
I am voting yes on all.
Councilmember Friedlander?
Had to unmute myself. Yes on A, B, and C.
Councilmember Kritz?
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg?
Yes on all.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes on all.
Councilmember Noon?
Yes on all.
Vice President Sackett?
Yes on everything.
President Jackson?
Yes. All the consent agenda carries based on the votes. Next are appointments. We have council appointments. We have EMS Jasmine Patel and junior firefighter Clara Taggart. Can I have a
Make
motion?
Make a motion.
Mr. Kelly,
Second it.
is that Mr. Salberg that seconded or Mr. Crit? Who seconded?
I second it too, but
Okay,
another voice.
yeah.
I second it.
Okay, Jack, okay. So Mr. Kelly and Mr. Quinn. Anybody have any comments? Hey, clerk, you
Congratulations to all of them.
Yep, congratulations. Clerk, you could take the roll call?
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly?
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn?
Yes.
Councilmember Friedlander?
A welcome yes.
Councilmember Kritz?
Yes.
Councilmember Salberg?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Councilmember Noon?
Yes.
Vice President Sackett?
Yes.
President Jackson?
Yes, that's 9 yeses. Congratulations to both appointments. Next, we have an item Mr. Kelly put on the agenda, the annual schedule of meetings. Mr. Kelly, I'd like to ask you, what do you want to discuss about the annual schedule of meetings?
Well, you know, Council President, we've been going about the WebEx meetings, and we have the remainder of the annual meetings that we've already set the scheduling for in January. And you had sent out an email encouraging other council members to talk to you, and I thought that would be a violation of OPMA. And rather than do it that way with the potential illegality of OPMA, I thought since we're all here with a quorum legally, that we could have some discussions about moving forward with having in-person meetings versus WebEx meetings. So that was generally the idea of this. I actually sent an email to the clerk making that suggestion. I didn't see it on the agenda, so I requested to add it. So I guess I'll start off a little bit with it, is that I hear on both sides everything that's going on, and I don't know how much, Mr. Jackson, that you've done any kind of research from what other municipalities or other boards and committees have been doing, not only within Rockaway Township, but also within the municipalities within Morris County. But like we were just listening to Mrs. Sweet, who wished to have, maybe continue with the WebEx, but yet she's promoting having these concerts of a gathering of people, with the mall and the gazebo. Our schools are actually having stuff where the children are going to school. I even see many of these council members that I see on a daily basis. Sometimes you guys don't see me when we're shopping in the same area, but you're not following the protocol of distancing and mask wearing and doing everything else. Even when beginning of COVID, I saw many of you who should be home quarantining or out shopping in ShopRite and Home Depots. So I think moving forward, there was no reason why we couldn't have in-person meetings. Of the concern that you had mentioned in your email, Mr. Jackson, I mean, tonight we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 8 members of the public. And if we were to go back to see the attendance of people that participated in the WebEx meetings, there hasn't been a whole host of attendees WebEx-wise. So I think if we were to have them in person, it's a lot easier, I think, to do business. Definitely wouldn't have the muting going on, which I know is something that you love, Mr. Jackson, especially when it deals with me. But we can actually have a course of business in person and talking to people rather than delays. We were all scared that the storm was going to take our power out tonight and maybe not have any internet before the meeting started. So what would be your concern of having in-person meetings moving forward from September into the end of the year?
Anybody else have anything they want to comment on with this in relation to this?
I asked you a question, Council President.
I'm not answering you, Mr. Kelly. You could follow me around all you want. I'm not answering your question. I don't have to answer any questions you
Nobody said
have.
that you have
It's
to,
not part
but
of it.
Council President.
Does any other council
just a
member
reminder-
have anything they want to
Just a
say?
reminder, Council President, you are the council
You're no
president.
longer recognized, Mr. Kelly. Does any other council member have anything they want to state?
Mr.
Council
Jackson,
President.
You're out of order,
I-
Mr. Kelly. You're no longer recognized. Go ahead, Mr. Quinn.
Yes, thank you. I do see if you get the Morris County updates as far as COVID increases in the different towns. Rockaway Township is on the upswing.
How many,
with
Mr.
the-
Quinn?
Mr. Kelly, you're out of order. You're not recognized. Please act
Stop
like a
trying to
professional.
talk over me,
Please act
Tucker.
like a professional and stop
Yes.
following people around and just be quiet. Go
Yes.
ahead, Mr. Quinn. You're recognized.
Yes. And I had asked administration to have a comment from our health officer, Peter Talbot. And if he would weigh in on this, because until we see what is transpiring, I am asking that we stay as a WebEx. It gives the residents more chance to get in on it. If we have all the council members plus administration, and we have to have the distancing and the masks and all that, I don't believe our courtroom can handle the volume if there was a controversial issue that could come up. Okay? We've had that before. And
Mr.
we're
Kelly, you're not recognized.
What do you do
and
for
we're
the
not
planning?
going
Mr. Kelly,
back
you're
to-
not recognized. You're
What do
out
you-
of order.
We're not
Stop
going
talking,
back
please.
to. We're not going
Plan-
back to the time.
You're so
when-
sad. Nobody interrupts you. Stop interrupting everybody else.
I don't say.
Go ahead, Mr.
Mr.
Quinn. You're
Kelly.
recognized. No. Mr. Kelly, you're out of order. You're not recognized.
Grow up.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn.
Mr.
Now,
Quinn?
Does anybody else
if
have,
we're
okay,
going
Mr.
back-
Quinn, understand, anybody else have anything they want to say?
So I do,
I do.
Council President.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
do.
Mr. Sackett. Mr. Kelly, you had your time to speak. You're no longer
My time
recognized. Go
wasn't-
ahead, Mr. Sackett.
Mr. Kelly, just give me a second. So I'm fine with going back in person. So just want you to know before you try to group everyone in certain different things. I already told Council President Jackson I was fine with going back in person. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything they want to say?
Still have a question.
Okay, we will move on to the next is reports. Every council member will have 15 minutes. Mr. Brooks, I'm going to let you go first.
I thank you very much. Just wanted to report that the baseball season is completed for both the majors as well as Babe Ruth. The kids had a great time this season getting out there
and just being able to be kids. Also, football has started. I do know that, and we do have hockey our last week of summer ice this week, and looking forward to the schools getting back, and just everyone be safe, and I thank you very much. And at that, Council President, I would ask to be excused.
You have a good night and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we'll go with Mr. Quinn.
Council President, the Rec Committee did not have a meeting this month. We're looking for a new date for next month. Planning Board, we are very slow right now. It's summer months, so things are slow. Yes, and Doug is correct. All the sports are gearing up as far as football and cheerleading. My granddaughter was rained on yesterday by that heavy rainstorm, and hockey is ending up. My grandson is playing, and everybody stay safe. This variant we don't know what it's going to do, so we're waiting. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Ms. Snoon?
Yes, I just want to wish everybody a happy Labor Day and nothing else to report. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Kelly?
Okay. Moving forward, first of my reports, White Meadow Lake Festival Day was phenomenal. I attended the carnival before we had the parade. They really do a lot of hard work in order to promote the festival day. I just hope next year that this council can maybe do a better presentation or participation with that. I mean, the president of the White Meadow Lake, they were trying to assemble us, and everybody kind of just left and went on their own way shortly after the parade ended. So that was a little disappointing. The Telemark had the pig roast on Saturday. A special thanks to Pat Cooper, who's the president of the men's club, and as well as Billy Carpack. They had roasted the pig that was there. They had a great turnout for that. The cleanup over on Denmark Road, we had a small storm since last meeting, and the DPW came out and they did a phenomenal job and cleaned up all that area that was over there from the debris and whatnot that's there. Also, the senior picnic coming up. Let me know what I can do. We've never really been given like a selection of what we can choose to participate in, but whatever it is, like we've done in the past, serving food or helping out or with the raffles and stuff like that, I'd be more than happy to do that as I've done in the past. As far as old business, I know it's only 3 months away, but Veterans Day is soon to come. And I have asked this council and the administration, there's something that we can do to both Veterans Day and Memorial Day to recognize those who had served and those who had made the ultimate sacrifice for each one of those holidays. Simply just putting the names of the residents of those who serve for Veterans Day would be a great way to recognize them. Other towns, like especially when you go through Dover on Blackwell Street, you see they have the portraits of the men and women that had served, and it's very military oriented and friendly. I'm sure that the Legion could help us, as well as the committees that we're doing with the Memorial Day Parade with that information to do so. So again, I mean, 90 days is far away, but also very close. One thing, maybe Mr. Yachafano, are you on still, Mr. Yachafano?
I am here, Mr. Kelly.
Can you give me any updates in regards to the Board of Assessment Commissioners with the Bobbyville sewer line? You know, as of June, it's been 5 years that I've seen with your billing addressing this, and then in October of 16, during the meeting minutes and the audio, you had indicated you guys are all wrapped up and just moving forward on this. Where are we now with the sewer assessment going on for the Bobbyville? And real quick, because my time is ticking.
Mr. Kelly, assuming the council president wants me to respond, I'll be happy to do that.
He doesn't decide whether you respond to your other client as a council member.
The protocol, Mr. Kelly, under our administrative code is for you to ask the permission of the council president to address anyone. You haven't done that.
Why can others then ask you questions without that kind of commentation?
No,
Why
that's
is it
not
only
true.
me when I ask you?
That's not true. I always recognize him before he speaks if anybody
All
asks
right,
him a
well,
question.
can you recognize the town attorney?
Sure, I'll recognize Mr.
representing the council?
Iacofano if he wants to answer the question.
Mr. Kelly, the current issue with the Bowlbyville sewer assessments is that it was discovered back towards the end of June that the map of the potentially benefited properties, which was prepared by the late Mark Burek, our former tax assessor, was unfortunately inaccurate.
Okay.
That came as a surprise to all of us who were involved in this process. You yourself, on many occasions, previously lauded Mr. Burek and his abilities,
He's a
and
wonderful man.
I was in total agreement with that. So it came as a very, very big shock that there were inaccuracies in the map. Since then, we have engaged with our former superintendent, and particularly our engineer and our clerk in redefining the properties that are benefited by the sewer project. Even now, our engineer has scheduled an on-site evaluation with other township employees. We have to redefine the benefited properties. It was
So, Mr.
completely,
Iacofano, have we had any meetings since May?
we have had no meetings since our last formal meeting.
Which was when? Do you remember?
Not off the top of my head, Mr. Kelly.
Well, I have a small little notification from Jim Waters about the cancellation. This was done on June 19th for the 6/22 meeting of this year, right? And there was a postponement of that assessment, commissioners. It's been postponed indefinitely.
It was on the same day that that meeting was scheduled that we discovered the errors in Mr. Burek's map in a pre-meeting meeting that was held to specifically review the evidence that was going to be presented before the board that evening.
Well, he has June 19th was the date of this notice of it being canceled. So
I can't speak to, I can't
I
speak to
mean,
that,
he's
Mr.
the
Kelly.
chairman. He's the
Mr.
chairman
Kelly,
of
I
the
don't
meeting.
have the document you're referring to as usual. So I told you what I could tell you.
For the
Mr. Kelly, I don't have the document you're
Okay.
referring to.
All right, that's easy then, Mr. Iacofano. But you know
If you
what?
say so.
On your invoicing, on page 17 of your invoicing, you charged us to attend the Bowlbyville meeting that you just said was canceled.
No, Mr. Kelly, I charged to attend the pre-meeting meeting.
Doesn't say that
resulted-
here. Doesn't say
Mr.
that.
Kelly, I'm not going to rely on you for the interpretation of our
It
bill.
almost seems like it's a year anniversary of you charging for another meeting that you didn't participate in the regular portion.
Just like I didn't attend the famous meeting that predicated your lawsuit, Mr. Kelly.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Now,
we know
I'm
all
glad
about
that you brought
that,
that
don't
up,
we?
Mr. Iacofano. Mr. Iacofano, your partner had sent out some correspondence in relation to that MRSL 150 that we just approved the closed session minutes. And part of that was talking about redacting information, pertinent information that would be identifying of individuals and stuff like that. And I'm sure, I would imagine that you would recollect, because you've been billing us dearly for this matter, that for an attendance report to validate that you didn't show at that meeting. But my concern is, Mr. Iacofano, that when you submitted your certification and you put it online, you actually put up an unredacted document that contains all of the officials on this governing body, including the mayor, their personal email or work email, their IP address from their device, as well as the IP device that the members of the public who participated in that meeting as well. So you put out sensitive material without redacting it online for everybody, predators of this type of sort, to review and acquire. Is there a reason why you did that?
Mr. Kelly, as usual, you're referring to documents.
Mr.
Kelly, do you want an answer or not?
You're not recognized, Mr. Iacofano. You just said it before.
Council President.
So you're 212.
Yes, Mr. Iacofano.
Your February.
Council President, you authorized Mr. Kelly to speak to me about the Bowlbyville sewer project.
You
Yes.
have sent a certification, including that as an attachment, identifying personal information that I would be a victim of, all these other members of the governing body, not you because you didn't participate to be on that attendance report. What do we do now to correct that and safeguard the rest of us, as well as the members of the public during that meeting? How do we address that moving forward?
Mr. Kelly, as usual, your comments have verged over a wide range of things, including alleged
Your
documents.
certification,
Your comments are virtually interplanetary.
IP addresses, emails of members of the public, officials, and employees that you have on the internet for anybody to review.
Mr.
How
Kelly,
do you
I
fix that
posted
problem?
nothing on the internet.
You
Okay.
uploaded it on
And
the
I'm not going to
22nd
comment
of.
on pending litigation that you are now attempting to
I'm
reinstitute
not. This has
after
nothing to do
having
with
your
litigation.
claims
This
dismissed
happened
by
to
the
you
court.
that you put up information that's sensitive material. You even have the mayor's IP address for his personal computer. Why would you do that?
Mr. Kelly, I'm not responding to
Of
allegations.
course not. So how do we fix it?
Mr. Kelly, did you put any of these questions to me in writing and provide the documents you're allegedly
No,
relying
no.
on?
When you do your commentary at the end during your reports about when you bashed me about litigation, did you give me that pre-game in writing before you talk? Is it a requirement, Mr. Yachafano? Can you cite a
Mr.
portion?
Kelly, I have nothing further to say to you.
Of course
Okay.
not. Now, my last thing that we have here, Mr. Jackson. You had mentioned at the last meeting about collecting $160 when it comes to the Employee Appreciation Day. You sent an email out on June 8th asking all of us to pay through Venmo. And then you sat there and a little bit bragging at the last meeting about, the $160 and one person didn't pay. And then you're expecting to have that 160 to cover over 150 employees, right? $1.05 each. And only a portion of them attended. Now I've asked for those receipts to validate that you received the money and that you actually spent all the money. Did you spend all the money, the 160 that you collected from the other council members?
You're delusional.
No, I'm asking you.
I'm not answering your question.
Why wouldn't you answer that? You spent $160 on all the other employees. What'd you do with the money?
I bought surveillance cameras to follow you around like you follow me.
Wow, that's pretty sick. But what did you
Yeah.
do with the $160 that you collected? Did you spend all of it on there, or did you pocket some of the money?
Oh, you're accusing me of
No, I'm asking you a simple question.
no, you're accusing me of embezzlement, I think. Be careful, Mr. Kelly. You're not the only one that has attorneys. So are you accusing me of embezzling money?
You collected $160.
Are you accused? So listen, prove that I didn't spend.
I
Here's
asked
what I'm gonna tell
you to provide me with the
Prove
receipts.
that I didn't spend the money on the picnic.
Did you spend the $160 on the
man,
picnic?
you are sick, dude. Jeez, you do something
did you
good.
spend
You
the
can't stand
$160?
anybody doing something
It's
good.
easy, yes or no.
You're sad. You're sad.
Did you
I
spend
spent all the money on the
$160?
picnic. I spent all the money and some of my own money on the picnic.
So why don't you show the receipts then to validate it?
Why do I need to show anything to you? You didn't give me any money.
Well, why don't you show that you spent the money on a public picnic for the employees?
Are you kidding me? I don't have to show you anything.
Do you
Why
have
don't you
them?
give money towards the employees? Why don't you do something good for the
Well,
employees
you know what? I wouldn't.
besides
embarrass
harass
them.
them and
That
wait
was a
for them in
bad
front of the
business deal you
building?
did. They're worth more than what you spent.
This isn't a
$160.
report, Mr. Kelly. You're sick,
Well, I still
man.
have time.
Jeez.
I still have my
You need
time.
help. You really need help.
So, do you have the receipts of what you purchased for the food, the hot dogs and hamburgers? You made them bring everything else and the drinks.
Do you
Simple
have
yes or no.
receipts for the gas money you spend when you're following people around?
I don't follow anybody. Are you making an
Oh,
accusation?
no, you don't. You've never gone
Council
into the
President.
diner, taken
So
a picture.
you don't have the
Ever lick a
receipts.
face?
Council
Have you licked
President.
the face lately?
So you
Council
don't want
President.
to provide the receipts
Yeah.
to prove that you paid for that food
See,
that you
Kelly, I
collected from the
don't
other council
answer
members.
to you. I don't answer to you.
I'm asking you a simple question.
I don't answer to
You,
you.
you went and you used
Council
attorneys. You
President.
spent probably
Yes, you're
what,
recognized.
Report.
spent $500 on the.
It's not a report.
Find the
You're not
receipt.
doing a report.
You'd spend $500 on the.
All right,
attorneys.
Mr. Kelly, your time is up,
Not to
Mr.
give
Kelly.
receipts, Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Kelly,
Why
your
didn't you give
time
me
is
the
up.
receipt?
Mr. Friedlander, your report. You're no longer recognized, Mr. Kelly. Mr. Friedlander, your report.
Thank you. I needed that rest because I was tired of making all those hamburgers, hot dogs, burgers, serving, cleaning.
How many hamburgers?
Give us
delivering.
your address,
30.
Mr. Friedlander. Can we have your address?
30.
Okay.
30 to 10.
A couple quick things. Just want to thank administration for, getting that grant for the Ford Face House. A little bit slow in getting the bids in, so they keep on pushing. If you looked at the website, also the library opened up the Hibernia branch with the hours posted, so that's a good sign. And then I just want to thank Mr. Iacofano for the report on the Board of Assessment. I was going to bring that up, but somebody else decided to start the ball rolling ahead of me. Yes,
You're
it'll
out of
be,
order,
done
Mr. Kelly.
soon. I don't want to hear anything. And
You're
that's
out of
it.
order, Mr. Kelly.
Enjoy your Labor Day weekend, family and friends, and stay healthy and safe.
Thank you. Mr. Kritz.
Hey, thank you. As somebody who willingly and happily gave money for the Employee Recognition Day, I mean, to think that the council president would abscond with any of those funds is not anything that ever crossed my mind, and it's never been.
Mr. Kelly, you're out of order.
Well, it's not.
Mr. Kelly, you're out of order. You're not recognized. Interrupt everybody. Try and interrupt everybody like you do every meeting. Go ahead, Mr. Kritz.
And to those of you that were able to go there that day and volunteer your time, thank you for that. First and foremost, I want to thank administration for the help in getting the 17 AEDs out in our recreational areas. It's really, it's awesome, what can happen, when we all work together. This is something that, we need, and I hope we never ever use. Every single practice facility, including those at our schools, now have one of these. I know that, at least for football, it is something that we cover with the coaches to let them know that they are there. And, God forbid we ever need one. So thank you to making that go. I know a lot of people worked hard on that. So I want to thank them for that. The administration also finished repairing all of the lights at the practice facilities at Birchwood and DBO. They had been falling into a little bit of disrepair. They were done in time for football and cheer, and they look great. So thank you for that.
Thanks for that.
You're not recognized and you're out of order, Mr. Kelly.
Who pays?
You're out of order, Mr. Kelly. You're not recognized. Go ahead, Mr. Kritz.
I want to bring up the girls softball has a golf outing on the 25th, and they need some help. So this is one of their big fundraisers. They don't ask a lot from their players and coaches as far as fundraising. They need golfers, and also any other donations for their baskets and auctions that they're going to have. If you've never been to a golf outing, it's $130 a head. It's a great day. It's a fun day out. So the 25th, please consider. You can look them up on Facebook or or at on their website. But let's support our own sports leagues. Peterson lot is open. I saw it opened up a couple days ago. So we at least now we're getting a lot of those basketball players are parking in a lot. And they're not parking out on Fleetwood. I know that the lot is, the QP is down and it's, temporary and eventually it'll be repaved, but it's good to see that lot's open. The Rockets have their annual pep rally the Friday before Labor Day. Everybody's going to come. It's a really, really fun night. And it gives our cheerleaders a chance to show off the routines that they've been practicing so hard for. We hope to see everybody there. And that's all I have. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. Mr. Salberg.
Thank you, Council President. First, I would like to thank those in White Meadow Lake as well who invited me to participate in the festival day and to be part of their parade. It was great to see the community spirit. It was wonderful to be part of it. It's such an important part of our township. I'll get ready with the mute button. I don't know what you were talking about, Councilman Kelly, about us not being involved in anything. Directly after the parade, I was standing with two other council people and the mayor. You were by yourself playing with a case of water, and we were all there right until the flag ceremony. So not quite sure what you were alluding
It's just
to.
that you
But
make,
we'll
Mr.
be
Kelly,
there.
you're out of order.
Well, he's making a wrong
Mr. Kelly,
comment.
you're out of order. You're not recognized. You're out of order. You had your time to
President
speak.
called-
You had
Well,
more
be
than
that
plenty
as
of
it may.
time to speak. You're out of order.
A lot
Go ahead,
happened.
Mr. Salbert. Out of order.
On far more important notes, again, September 9th, the senior picnic. I know it's still a little ways away, but hope everybody can attend. Looking forward to volunteering for that. On a final note, I do want to echo what the council president spoke about at the beginning, and that was, losing our friend Rob, important part of our community, a friend of mine for 40 plus years. I actually wanted to just read something that my wife put out as a birthday wish. Her birthday was yesterday. Unfortunately, we had to bury Rob on her birthday. And in social media, she wrote that if everybody could just call or visit with one person who you think may need to hear from a friendly voice, this need not be a huge time commitment nor a grand gesture. Just let them hear a voice and a genuine "how are you?" and just listen and be there for your friends. Don't know if it would have made a difference, but in honor of Rob, I hope that everybody could do that. Thank you. Nothing else.
Thank you. Vice President Sackett.
A lot of stuff was in all the reports, a lot of stuff echoing a few things. Festival Day was a great weekend. Besides the parade, I spent most of my weekend there at the various events. I actually participated in the hot dog eating contest, so that was a pretty fun time there. My family and everyone I saw there really had a great time, and everyone in the POA and all the different committees, Eileen Horowitz.
Did you win?
I did not win, but they all did a great job. So fun weekend on festival weekend. Like Mr. Kritz had said, football, cheerleading, all starting up this Monday. Actually starts the 16th. Will be high school soccer starts, tryouts for the various high schools in our area. So good luck to all trying out for soccer. Pep rally, like Howard mentioned, also the 3rd. Senior picnic, also the 9th. And also just want to express my condolences as well to Rob Willis. Great guy that I've known the past few years since being on council, and I'm going to miss him. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be brief because everybody touched on a lot of items. The only thing I'd add is that all the council members should have received from the Department of the Army the comprehensive test plan, continuous monitoring system, performance evaluation test plan for the testing of an explosive waste incinerator located at Picatinny Arsenal. And there's a bunch of contact names and numbers. So if any members in your ward or you have any questions, you could reach out to those people. Everybody should have gotten this.
Part of the minutes.
And I would just say that I appreciate, there's a lot of rave alerts that go out about road closures and water mains and all those things. And I think the township's been doing a great job reporting those items and making sure the public's aware. With that, I'll turn it over to the mayor for his report.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to start with Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly, are you on still? Is he happen to be on?
Yeah, it looks like he's on, yeah.
Okay.
Let me report whatever you say.
Please don't interrupt me, Mr. Kelly. Thank you. Tom, I don't know if we haven't spoken in person. I've received some of the emails, and I know some of your concerns. I know that you're a supporter. We ran into each other, and you were excited about the basketball improvements and the Peterson improvements. We are looking into putting up some sort of barrier there. As you know, Peterson is going to be under construction again. We had a committee meeting with our recreation committee composed of Jonathan Sackett, Doug Brooks, and Jack Quinn. And some of these ideas, some of the improvements that we're doing, they're going to be ongoing. And I've spoken with Ms. Seeger, I've spoken with Mr. Coward, our recreation director. We're looking to find a creative solution to put some sort of barrier, trees or whatnot up there. We still haven't figured out exactly what we want to do. I hear you. I know that it can be noisy. I know that the basketball courts are being utilized more than ever because they're new. And we have groups, we have a men's group on Wednesday night that plays there that never played there before, in-town people. So there's going to be a lot of utilization. Those are regulation size courts. We're going to have, different groups that are going to be, formalized groups that are going to be practicing there. I have contacted the police in terms of the noise. I will contact them again. Everyone should be out of there at 10 o'clock. There's no reason that anyone should be hanging around there. So I am going to reinforce that and speak to our police chief again and make sure that maybe they could add extra patrols there. In terms of the lighting, they are LED lights. They do go off at 10 o'clock. We're trying to follow, our town ordinances in terms of noise. Now, if people are playing loud music, it's not supposed to be blaring. We do have mechanisms in place, even prior to 10 o'clock, that they're not supposed to be, playing music so loud that it disturbs, surrounding houses or disturbs the public. Your question in terms of people coming from out of town, that's more of a legal hurdle. I don't think that we would be allowed to, Rockaway Township would be allowed to limit who uses those facilities, going on there and checking ID. I don't believe that we're allowed to do something like that. It's not a private community per se where people pay dues, so we might be limited in that area. We'll definitely have a continued conversation on this. I just want to touch on a few points just so you know that we're paying attention, and we're paying attention not just for you, but some other folks in that area have addressed concerns with parking and whatnot. And one of the things that I try to do is get that parking lot, the lower lot, open as quick as possible. If you notice that that's been open, so we could kind of alleviate some of that on the street. Like I said, we'll reach out to you at some point. We'll discuss this further, but we are looking into that. I want to address something that was brought up earlier about, it's a good thing. Councilman Kelly brought up about the ordinances. Why haven't our liquor ordinances been updated? It's been 9 years. That predates many of us who were on the council. I can only speak to my time when I started as a councilman and then became mayor. Our former mayor, Michael Datchison, was starting a project where we were going to be codifying our ordinances, and that was in place. And up until now, until this current council, we haven't had any structured ordinance committee meetings. This current council that you see in front of you is the first since I've been on the council, since I've been mayor, that has actually sat down as a committee, as a work session to get some of these ordinances updated. As you see, the liquor ordinances are being updated. Other ordinances are being codified as well. So we are moving forward with that process, but we were on hold for quite a long time. The prior councils, I'm not going to lay blame from 10, 11 years ago up to now, but I can tell you that this current council has been working diligently on improving our ordinances. One of the ordinances, I was speaking to one of the business owners in town a while back. We lowered the time. We had an 11 o'clock opening for our liquor stores in town. We lowered that to 9 o'clock. One of the business owners came up to me and told me that small adjustment that the ordinance committee worked on with our legal, with our town attorney, with myself, with our business administrator, has substantially improved their income. A two-hour difference, instead of opening at 11, opening at 9, they've made a substantial increase in their income. So those are the kinds of things that are happening that this ordinance committee is doing. Veterans Day, once again, Mr. Kelly brought up he would like to see some recognition for us to put something on our website honoring our veterans. I agree with him. He brought that up a while back. I told the council that I would look into that. The county is actually creating a list throughout Morris County that I'm looking to at some point to explore to see if that list is finished, where we can piggyback and put a link on our website to that list where people can see town by town, the veterans throughout Morris County. And if not, we can always work with our historic our historical society, when I attend different functions in town, they have a booklet that they've produced that has all of the Rockaway Township vets from, Civil War, going forward. So there is a comprehensive list with our, with the Rockaway Denville Memorial Parade Association. I also wanted to bring up that we had a meeting with our recreation committee, a very good meeting, just to go over some of the plans in terms of the continued improvements at Peterson Field, like I had promised, and many of the councilmen promised when we ran that we were going to rehab and update Peterson Field, and we're going to do that in a slow and methodical and in a cost-effective and cost-conscious, process. We met a week or two ago, and we sat down. We spoke about where we're going to go next. We're going to be going out to bid for fields 1 and 2, the multi-purpose field, very soon in September, and we should once again have a shovel in the ground sometime next spring, early summer. It's going to be a lengthier project than the basketball courts and the tennis courts, but we are moving forward with those improvements. We are working with our recreation committee, our CFO, Lisa Palmieri, to see in terms of cost and where we're at as far as doing this prudently and fiscally responsible. Peter Tabbitt could not be here. I invited him to come tonight to give you an update on COVID. I know that was concern for some of our residents. I know it's a concern for some of our council people. So he wrote up something brief for me, and I'm just going to read it to you guys, some of the outlines, just to give you a comprehensive update. Following is a brief COVID-19 update from our health officer. First, I wish to advise the council that the health officer and business administrator are watching COVID rates and the state directives very closely and will advise accordingly if the governor recommends or requires a change in policy at the local level. As all members of the governing body know, there has been a significant uptick in COVID cases nationally, regionally, and locally in New Jersey. In New Jersey, there were 1,392 new cases today, the second highest daily total since May 7, or precisely 3 months ago. Long-term care facility outbreaks are on the rise, as are breakthrough cases occurring among fully vaccinated individuals. That said, breakthrough cases continue to be very low at well under 1% of vaccinated individuals. So we naturally encourage those who are unvaccinated to seek a full COVID vaccination. Experts are still unsure whether vaccinated individuals are able to transmit the disease, as it is a difficult statistic to investigate due to multiple factors. Locally, Morris County has been averaging 63 per day recently, with 59 cases today. The county was in yellow status last week, representing moderate community transmission, but we are now in orange status, representing substantial community transmission. In Rockaway Township, we have seen 48 cases over the last 4 weeks, which corresponds with the regional increase in COVID cases cumulatively. We now have seen 2,604 cases in the township since the advent of the pandemic. Naturally, our biggest concern of late is the Delta variant of COVID-19. There is a great concern due to the Delta variant's heightened transmission, higher rates of hospitalization, and distinct possibility that vaccines aren't as effective against the variant. Due to concerns over the Delta variant, experts don't believe the pandemic is coming to an end anytime soon. Though it may sound like hyperbole, many experts agree that the Delta variant of COVID-19 actually may be among the most contagious viruses ever. Some of the foremost virologists have stated that based on low global vaccination rates, the anticipated duration of the Delta variant, and the formation of new variants over time, the coronavirus will eventually become something of a forever virus, like influenza. Given that only about 15% of the global population is vaccinated, this very well may be true. To put the Delta variant concerns in perspective, 81% of COVID-19 cases nationally and 84% of cases in New Jersey are Delta. On July 1st, only 16% of the cases were tested positive for the Delta variant. With regard to COVID-19 policy, guidance for travel and face cover remains unchanged at this time. Local government and private businesses may update or change guidance as they deem fit. School policy has certainly been on many residents' minds with the 2021-2022 academic year approaching. While full-time in-person instruction has been announced for the coming year, the state has stated that indoor masking will be required for everyone in school buildings, regardless of vaccination status. Some good news regionally in terms of vaccination rates. At this time, 5.2 million New Jerseyans are fully vaccinated. Locally, 61% of Rockaway Township residents are fully vaccinated, and 90% of township seniors are fully vaccinated. Again, the mayor, Department of Administration, and Division of Health encourages any unvaccinated residents to seek full vaccination. The 3 approved vaccinations are widely available locally. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the brief statement from Mr. Tavitt.
Just so the mayor knows.
Mr. Yachafano, Mr. Kelly, you're not recognized. You're out of order.
9 million residents.
Mr. Kelly, you're out of order. Mr. Yachafano.
Thank you, Council President. Council President, in view of a number of the attacks on your conduct of the meetings as Council President that have been made tonight, and quite frankly, unfortunately, on many other nights of council meetings, I'd just like to cite some portions of our township code which directly relate to the conduct of council meetings. And I'm talking about section 2-5.13. And this specifically relates to the conduct of members of the council. Every member of the council shall confine himself to the issue presently pending, avoiding all personalities and indecorous language. A member once recognized shall not be interrupted when speaking, unless it be to call him to order. If a member while speaking be called to order, he shall cease speaking until the question of order be determined by the presiding officer, and if ruled out of order, he shall not be allowed to proceed. Conversely, if ruled to be in order, the member shall be allowed to proceed. I wanted to read that to the council and quite frankly to the public tonight because it is my opinion that you are doing your best to conduct these meetings, and this meeting in particular, as you're required to conduct them under our administrative code. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Yachafano. Mrs. Seeger? You're out of order, Mr. Kelly.
Take a motion.
Kelly, you're out of order.
Mr. Jackson, I just would like you to know that I did get another person from the public just came through my email. I don't know if it's too late. Ask the attorney.
Never too late.
Mr. Kelly, nobody asked you your opinion. Just lean back in your chair and continue to look like you look, okay? Just be quiet. You're not recognized. I'll tell you when you're able to speak. You're not recognized. I'll tell you when you can speak.
From the council?
Remember, you can't speak until I tell you you can speak, so please be quiet. Mrs. Seeger, when did you receive it?
I just got it, but on the email it says 6:51.
Oh, go ahead and read it then. That's fine.
It's from Donna Retch, I might say the last name wrong, on Mount Pleasant Avenue. If the council is going to continue with one meeting per month during the summer months, arrange the dates to indicate that when in discussion, it would save time to schedule them this way so that time can be used to get to other items on the agenda. Don't know what that means, but.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Did you have anything to report?
I just want to say that Mayor Puzio is correct about the basketball courts. They were funded, the whole park was funded by Green Acres, and we cannot have it open only to Rockaway residents because the law doesn't allow it. Just so everybody knows that, and have a good holiday for Labor Day that's coming up. And thank you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Ferrante?
No comment, Council President.
Okay. Mrs. Palmieri?
Yes, tax bills will be mailed out tomorrow and they will be due on September 8th to avoid any interest or penalties. I think I had reported to you last meeting that they would be going out a week prior to that, but we had a little bit of a delay with the printer and having it going out in conjunction with the newsletter, so it was delayed a little bit. But again,
What's the date again, Mrs. Palmieri? The date?
they're due September 8th, 2021 to avoid interest penalty.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we also, again, we encourage people to pay online if they can. It's better than relying on the US mail. And of course, you can always come into Town Hall, leave it in our drop box. Either way works. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dyer?
No comment, Council President.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn in a second?
Motion.
Take a motion.
Mr. Sackett and Mr. Friedlander, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is
Aye.
adjourned.